Hello everyone, welcome back to the tavern. Today we are taking a look at the Bloodhunter build that I had theorized when working on those videos. So today we are going to go through build probably level 1 through about level 13, since that's where most published adventures end for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. So let's take a look here. I have D&D Beyond pulled up. We'll make sure that we tick critical role content, everything else fine. All right, first up is the race. This is going to be campaign specific. I think top two choices for races, not counting the human, of course. Mountain Dwarf has some really interesting benefits to it. Keep in mind, we are doing a Polar Master build. So the Mountain Dwarf's going to give us proficiency with some weapons, which we don't need. Proficiency with some armor, which we don't need. Stone cutting and tools. But really, the Mountain Dwarf is going to give us the resistance to poison and advantage on those saves. And it's going to give us +2 strength and +2 constitution, which is going to be fantastic. The build that I have in mind isn't going to be that intelligence focused, so it might be better to go with the Mountain Dwarf. We also get dark vision from them, which is nothing to scoff at. Dark vision is fairly important. Even though we are intending to go with the Ghost Slayer, I think the dark vision might still be worth it for the times when we want to use one of our other rights if the party is trying to be sneaky for some reason. The other choice for race that I would lean towards, and this is, I would talk to your DM before selecting it, is the Gith Yankee. So this is going to be strength by 2 and intelligence by 1. We will not have dark vision, but we are proficient. We will learn one language of our choice, one skill, and one skill or tool of our choice. So I think I would pick the skill, and it's a choice. We also get psionics. We have an invisible mage hand. Once per day, we get the jump spell, and then at 5th level, we get a Misty Step spell once per day. And the Misty Step spell is amazing, and I think I'm going to go with the Gith Yankee because we gain these proficiencies, light, medium armor, swords, doesn't matter. Those don't matter. Base walking speed's 30 feet. We have a little bit more movement than the dwarf, even though we aren't getting that benefit to the constitution. We have a little bit of things to be able to do with magic. Maybe if we want to take like Magic Initiate down the road, like Magic Initiate Wizard, that might be a good feel or transition. Or maybe we might level dip into Wizard some. So I think we're going to go with, there we are, the Gith Yankee. Decadent Mastery. So language, I think I'm going to go with Elvish here. And then the skill or tool we'll come back to. So class, we are going to add Bloodhunter. And I'm going to jump it to 3 right away, since we're staying in Bloodhunter for 3 levels right off the bat anyway. So we get 3 of these, and then we'll go to the description, pick 3 more. 2 more. Right off the bat, I think we're going to go with Arcana, lean into this sort of a mage feel. I'm going to go with investigation, and let's go with survival as well. The reason I went with survival there is because we're going to have the we have all of these bonuses to our survival checks. We want to make sure that we have a decent survival check anyway. And we can play this Ghost Slayer as not only someone who hunts ghosts and things, but hunts ghost stories. The ghost stories being the Mind Flayers, the Illithid, things that the Gith races absolutely abhor. And maybe the presence of a Gith and the presence of this unique class of Bloodhunter is uniquely tied to each other. Maybe this was a form developed in your campaign specifically by the Gith, and that's what they're famous for. To hunt down these Illithids or something. And it gives some exotic feel to the character without having to worry about trying to fit it into a campaign. All right, Blood Curses. My favorite is absolutely Eyeless. That's the disadvantage on attacks. Fighting style. I believe we are going with Dueling. Melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons +2. The other option is Great Weapon Fighting. But that requires us to wield it with 2 hands. So we're not going to go with that. We are going to go with Dueling, which is +2 to damage rolls, which is pretty good. And that basically makes the Quarterstaff that we're intending to wield be better as a one-handed weapon as D6 +2 than a two-handed weapon, which makes it a D8. D6 plus 2 is way better because our minimum is 3 versus the minimum of 1 on the D8, where the maximum is still 8. Crimson Right, I'm going to go with Right of Flame in addition to the fighting style. I'm going to go with that for roleplay purposes. Gith are common to partner up with red dragons, so fire makes sense to me. Go to Ghost Slayer, that gives us Red of the Dawns. We have Radiant, we gain resistance to necrotic, pretty awesome. And we get bonus damage against undead. And Curse Specialist, we get an extra use of our Blood Maledict feature. So we have 2 uses right away, which is really cool. All right, let's go to Blood Hunter 5. And that's going to give us our feat. And this is going to be Pole Arm Master. And here we are. When you take an attack action that uses only a glaive, halberd, quarterstaff, or spear, you can use a bonus action to make a melee attack with the opposite end of the weapon. This attack uses the same ability as the primary attack. The weapon's damage dice is a d4, and it deals bludgeoning damage. But it's going to be a d4 plus 2 because we are dueling weapon style. When you're wielding a glaive, halberd, pike, quarterstaff, or spear, other creatures provoke an opportunity attack from you when they enter your reach. Now, we aren't going to actually have reach. We are still going to only have a 5-foot reach, but that's okay. Let's jump over to our ability scores right now, and we're going to go with point buy here. And we're going to get our strength right up to 15, our intelligence right up to 13. That's going to immediately put us at our plus 2 strength to 17, which is fantastic, and our intelligence up to 14, which is decent. Now, next up is our constitution, and we want to make sure that's halfway decent. So we can put that to 14 and be a little bit tankier. Aren't really left with a lot of points to play around with after that. So we could set them in like that, with a 12 in dexterity, a 14 in con, a 14 in intelligence, and a 17 in strength. I think I'm actually going to go with what are our racial or our class features, proficiencies. Here we are. We get dexterity and intelligence saving throws as our proficiencies. So we could, I think we're actually going to leave the dexterity at 12 right now, and we can fix that down the road if we want to. The other option would be to leave wisdom as an 8 and get dexterity to 13, so that way we can try to up it later. We can't really get it to 14, and I really don't think I'm going to spend the points to increase it down the road. I think I'd rather have that there. I don't think we could put the intelligence to 14, so that way we can up it to 15 at some point. Like our next ability score improvement could go strength intelligence and really max these out. Let's swap the constitution 12 and dexterity to 14. So that way we're basically set in medium armor plus shield. And we don't have a lot of hit points, it's okay. There are magic items that we can try to quest towards to fix that, like Belts of Dwarven Kind or Amulet of Health, whereas we can't fix a bad dexterity score with a magic item, DM specific. And let's just hard dump Wisdom and Charisma, why not? It'll be fun and give us some good roleplay opportunities there. Description, so we're going to go with just custom background, configure. Definitely feels like a far traveler is the right feel for this. And we're going to go with 2 skills, 2 languages, save. All right, so skills. We want to have perception, and let's go with intimidation. That's a charisma skill. We already have a penalty on it. Let's go with history. That'll feel right, especially for a gift that could be immeasurably long-lived because time doesn't pass in the astral state. Everyone's static. Let's throw on Draconic, lean into this magic feel, and let's go with Deep Speech because that's what Illithids and other creatures from the Far Realms speak. So it makes sense that we would speak that if that's what our standard quarry is. Equipment. Let us throw on untick magical. Throw on armor. So we have armor. By 5th level, we would probably have a half plate. We have disadvantage on stealth, but we're going to leaning into it. We would carry a shield, though. There we go. And now let's switch that over to weapon and go down to Q and throw a quarterstaff on. Now here we are. We got half plate, quarterstaff, shield. And as 5th level, we have multi-attack. So bear with us on this. We don't have a lot of hit points. That's all right. We're about to remedy that. The Quarterstaff is going to deal 1d6 plus 2 damage on an attack, and we have 2 attacks per round. It's also going to deal 1d4 radiant damage because that's our Hemocraft dice. That's our right damage. Now our bonus action attacks is going to be 1d4 plus 2 plus an additional 1d4 radiant. So we will have 2d6 plus 4d4 plus 6 plus strength over 3 attacks in a round. And if they enter or leave us, we get an opportunity attack against them with our radiant damage, if we're not going to use one of our blood curses or something. Now, Decadent Mastery, skill or tool. Let's jump back here, and I'm going to throw a skill on here. Let's go with Medicine. Medicine's not a bad pick. I think I want to throw Religion on here, or we could throw Stealth on. We have a +2 to Dexterity, so the adding proficiency here is just going to make up for the fact that we have disadvantage because of everything. So it's okay. Now we're actually going to dip at this point, classes. We're going to dip out of Blood Hunter because at class features, Blood Hunter, Ghost Slayer, 7th level, and the class features for Blood Hunter, 5th level, here we go. 5th level. 6th level, we get Brand of Castigation. Not massive yet. Our intelligence modifier is decent, but we're not getting a lot out of it. And I think we can do better. So we're actually going to dip out of Blood Hunter and go into Wizard because of our intelligence score. And we're going to push to Wizard 2, probably to 4. The reason we're going to 2 is this lets us add an Arcane Tradition. Talk to your DM about picking Blade Singing. The lore is that Gith were once something like elves, so it's not too far of a stretch that they might have a Blade Singing tradition, in which case I would definitely go for it. That Blade Song is going to be fantastic for you. It does cost a bonus action to be able to use that, though. So the other option I would pick is probably War Magic or School of Abjuration, because the Arcane Ward is going to basically give us more hit points than we actually have by being able to spend our spell slots on basically just pure abjuration spells. Because when we click through our spells, we'll get 6 at first level. Spell book, add spells. We get 6 at first level, and that's going to be definitely Shield, Magic Missile. Don't want Mage Armor since we are wearing medium armor. Sleep's decent, but remember this is level 6 and 7, so Sleep's not worth it anymore. Identify is worth having. Detect Magic is also worth having. Disguise Self. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then one more, we're going to go with Alarm. The reason is Alarm is an abjuration spell we can cast in the morning every day without spending a spell slot. It's a ritual. So it's 6. So there's our first 6, and now we gain an additional 2 on our next level. We're going to go with Absorb Elements because it's an abjuration spell. And it's going to save us from like huge things like Dragonfire and stuff like that. And the other pick could be something like Comprehend Languages. I also like False Life a lot because it's 1d4 plus 4 temporary hit points. It's a way to burn these spell slots on good uses. Featherfall's not a terrible choice. Let's go with ritual spells. Maybe we don't pick... so Identify and Alarm never need to be prepared. Our intelligence modifier is currently a 2. So we're going to get to prepare 4 of our 8 wizard spells. So our prepared spells will be 4 Absorb Elements. No. Maybe. No. Absorb Elements. Shield. False Life. And I think Disguise Self is the linchpin here. Do we go with Disguise Self or do we go with something else? The damage from our wizard spells isn't great. That's why I picked Magic Missile. So we have Shield, Magic Missile, False Life, and Absorb Elements as our 4 preparation spells. We could go with something like Find Familiar here if we want. I think I'm going to go with Unseen Servant or Floating Disc, probably. Let's go with Comprehend Languages. That would make sense for a tracker to be able to figure out languages. So now we have our 8 spells. 4 of them are ritual spells, which we won't ever prepare. We'll just be able to cast them as a ritual. The other, and we'll get to spellbook. Here we are. Prepare 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. That's our 4 spells. And now let's go back to this, and we get 3 cantrips, which is exciting. We're going to throw in here Booming Blade. This is going to let us, when we do need to, if we're worried that they're going to flee or something, we could go with Booming Blade. We're going to go with a ranged cantrip in Firebolt. That's going to solve a lot of our ranged problems. The other choice could be Mind Sliver because it's an intelligence saving throw, and I kind of like that. The thing is, intelligence saving throws probably aren't good against Illithids, so I think we're just going to go with the Firebolt. We do not have Dark Vision, so we're going to pick up Light. We do have Mage Hand already, so we don't need that. I think our last one will be something... oh, no, that is all 3. Booming Blade, Firebolt, and Light. You could definitely swap out Booming Blade here. Since we are in multi-attack, let's not go with it. Let's go with Prestidigitation. Good old Prestidigitation. If you want to do something basic with magic, Prestidigitation will probably do it. So now we've dipped 2 levels of Wizard, but we've added so much utility to our character, which is really exciting. And now we have these spells to play around with. We have 4 first-level spell slots. And let's go up to Wizard 4 to get to the feat, or the ability score improvement. So that's going to give us 1 more cantrip. And I think that cantrip at this point will be something like Sword Burst. Because this is each creature other than me, around me, must make a save against it. The other choice is going to be something like Firebolt, or a ranged thing if we didn't pick it up already. But we did, so we're going to go with this, unless you want to pick like a roleplay spell. And now we get 2 second levels and then an additional 2 second levels. So let me close this, open this, second levels. There we go. We already have Misty Step once per day. We're gonna, and I believe we have, we did not have Blur. So we're going to take Blur here as a second level. We could pick up Darkness, Dark Vision. I don't think that's what we're going to do. Let's go with a utility thing in Invisibility. We could pick up Hold Person here, but we don't have a lot of spell slots to burn on it. So I don't think it's worth the selection. I'm going to go with Mirror Image here because it's non-concentration. There's not a lot of ritual spells in second level. Magic Mouth is, it's all right. Let us go with something else utility. Let's go with Knock here. Because we don't have a lot of second level spell slots, we already get the 1 Misty Step per day. Now, obviously, we can skip this out on this Knock and pick up this Misty Step. We're only going to really prep 2 of these at any given point. Prepared spells, because we only get, nope, that's not it, Spellbook. 6 prepared spells, so not a lot, and we don't want to prep our rituals. We'll probably drop having Magic Missile, especially if we're relying on Firebolt at this point. We'll prep Blur, Misty Step, and I think it's Blur or Invisibility is the pick usually. Now these are our only 2 concentration spells, so they detect magic. And I think Blur is going to do better for us. Mirror Image is non-concentration, so maybe we don't even pick that up. Let's close this, add spells, and let's jump all the way down to Blur. Mirror Image. Remove that, and let's go with... let's pick up another first level spell. Let's pick up Find Familiar at this point. So that way we have a way to scout effectively. And now we are 9th level character, 4 wizards, 5 blood hunter, and this is when we would dip back into blood hunter. We do have to handle this ability score improvement, and we are going to go with straight ability score improvement to strength and intelligence. That's going to give us 1 more spell prepped because our intelligence modifier changes. See, we have 7 now, and that's going to let us prepare Magic Missile. And once again, the only spells that we have not prepared are our ritual spells: Find Familiar, Identify, Detect Magic, Comprehend Languages, and Alarm. We have this amazing Arcane Ward, Twice your wizard level plus your intelligence modifier, so 4. Our intelligence modifier is 3, so 4, 8, 11. 11 hit points starting, and then whenever we burn a spell, abjuration spell of first level, higher, the ward regains the number of hit points equal to twice the level of the spell. So every time we cast that shield or that absorb elements, our Arcane Ward is recharging a little bit. It's only 2 hit points, but that adds up over time, and it's worth having in my opinion. Finally, let's jump back to Blood Hunter. We're going to take this up to 8, and that is going to be where we finish. Blood Curses, we do get a second option here. I believe it was the Anxious that I was a big fan of. No, that's not it. Marked. That's it. Marked. Yeah. Additional Hemocraft against the attacks. So very powerful. Awesome effect. Crimson Right, we get a second option. We're going to pick up Storm here, because lightning damage is rarely resisted. And then we have lightning, fire, and radiant damage as our picks. And our final ability score improvement, we can go with a feat or an ability score improvement. Right now we are at 18 strength, so we could cap out our strength. I don't think we're going to touch the intelligence anymore. The other option could be also to pick up one of the feats like Sentinel. And I think what we're actually going to go with here is, if we take a look at our abilities right now, we're actually going to increase our Constitution by 2 here. We could also pick up Tough, and I actually don't hate picking up Tough at this point, because the increased Constitution is not going to do a lot for us, but 2 hit points per level, it's not bad at all. So let's just throw Tough on here. Tough. The other option could be Alert, +5 to Initiative. Not terrible, especially when we have a bunch of bonus action things that we need to set up. Durable's not great, not bad. Lucky's pretty good. But let's throw Tough on here for now. This is definitely a personal choice at this level. Alert could definitely be very good, especially if we pick something for the wizard other than like School of Abjuration. If we pick something that gave us a bonus to initiative, like Chronergy, like we were a Chronergist Blood Hunter, and we had the intelligence modifier bonus to initiative, and we have Gift of Alacrity to give us a D8 bonus for 8 hours, and then we have Alert on top of that, so we have 3 + 5, so 8, minimum +1, so 9, plus our dex bonus of 2. We have minimum of +11 to our initiative bonus. We are really good at setting up combat. We're not that durable, but we're not bad either. The thing is, we'd rather spend our first level spell slots on shields and absorb elements rather than setting up Gift of Alacrity every day. So that is the Blood Hunter up to level 12, and I hope you enjoyed it. I think this build would actually be a lot of fun to play. 80 hit points, not a lot of hit points. This could definitely be remedied by picking up something like the Belt of Dwarven Kind, which would be amazing. There's lots of different options. I think Amulet of Health is that. Yeah, so if you add an Amulet of Health to this character, and you gain 20-something hit points, 24 hit points in the blink of an eye. This would be like the best item for this character overall. There we go. Sorry, you will go from 104 to 140. So you gain 36 hit points if you pick up this item. This is well worth an attunement slot, hands down. And it solves the one problem that the build has of a little bit lower constitution than you generally like, but that's all right. No big deal. You do have an armor class of 19 as a wizard, so hope you enjoyed it. We will see you next time in the tavern. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my content to anyone you think who might enjoy it. I really do enjoy making these videos, and I would love to be able to have more time to do so. If you want to support me in any way financially, you can support me in my PayPal or Patreon links, as they are both down in the description below. I will see you next time. If you have any comments, I would love to see them. I really do read all of them. I try to respond. Or suggestions for future videos. Anything you'd like to hear me talk about, I'm more than willing to listen. See you next time now.